Xanadu. And I have on the phone and in the studio, on the phone I have Dev Janki, who directed the Hangar's production of Xanadu, and Thena Gitlin, who is the director of marketing for the Hangar Theater. Let me open up a mic for you, Thena. Welcome, Thena.
Thank you.
Hey, Dev. Welcome.
Hey there. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So, Deb, I got a question for you. I'm going to bounce back and forth between you two. Xanadu won a Tony for Best Book. Am I right about that?
It was nominated. It was nominated actually for several Tony Awards for best score, and best book.
Okay.
That season, it was very exciting because because none of the music had been on Broadway. It was considered an original score.
Interesting.
It received a lot of acclaim when it first came to Broadway, and it was very surprising to everyone because it had been such a flop movie. So there was a lot of eye rolling as it was coming in, and a lot of naysayers. But it turned out to be one of the biggest Broadway hits and one of the biggest crowd pleasers that we had seen on Broadway for a while.
Yeah. Interesting that what you might call well, let me ask a question. Do you consider this a jukebox musical with just a really, really strong book?
Absolutely. I mean, as we know, there are some very successful jukebox musicals that have made it and some not so successful. And what's so great about this is the movie was so nonsensical. The songs were like cotton candy. They were pop songs that really are not musical theater songs, and yet Douglas Carter Beane, the book writer, and the team that put it together so brilliantly embraced the nonsensical nature of it. And actually, they commented on themselves, and we commented on it being a jukebox musical. So somehow the magic of that has made it really appealing to people, and it's sort of everyone's sort of in on the joke of it being a jukebox musical.
Right. It doesn't
the best and worst sense of the words.
Yeah, it doesn't take itself too seriously. Thena, how have audiences been responding to Xanadu at the Hangar?
Audiences have been loving Xanadu at the Hangar. I've actually heard from multiple patrons that it is their favorite show that they've ever seen at the Hangar Theater, which is pretty amazing.
That is amazing.
Yes. And I love it, too.
Yeah, it's amazing what roller skates can do. Well, I've seen it too, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little tongue in cheek, doesn't take itself seriously, and it moves right along, and it's really kind of dazzling to look at. Dev, can you talk a little bit about the creative team, especially the design team?
Oh, I couldn't be more excited and pleased to have worked with these incredible people. I mean, Corey Pataki did the incredible lighting. I've worked with before, so it was his first time working at the Hangar, and we've done several shows together. The incomparable John Iacovelli, who I'd never worked with, but he is sort of a legend I know he's a good friend of Michael Barakiva and has been wanting to come work out here, so the fact that we got him to design this beautiful, beautiful set is incredible. And then, of course, Dixon Reynolds' crazy, hilarious, beautiful, colorful, tongue-in-cheek costumes just are kind of extraordinary. And then, of course, Sean Haggerty, who did the sound, because so much of the show is about the music.
Yeah.
He really made it sound so incredible. So it's quite an extraordinary team that I feel really honored to have gotten to work with.
Excellent. Thena, now, your first name is short for... It's not short for...
It's not.
Oh, my gosh. Well, but you still have the characteristics of Athena, which is wisdom, right? How do you think... what do you think of the show's representation of gods, goddesses, and muses?
So my name actually was based off of Athena, so you were correct there.
Uh-huh.
I think that it does definitely have some facts with ancient Greek mythology, but it certainly has a modern adaptation with a lot more humor. So it's sort of like what you would think of those characters, but with a lot more sass.
They are sassy. That's a good word.
Yes.
Deb, in Greek mythology, usually whenever Greek gods or goddesses hook up with mortals, it does not end well for the mortals. What does it say? What does this production or this show say that the outcome of Xanadu departs from that formula? The mortal ends up getting the girl who happens to be a muse.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think that's where the drama comes into it because, we as you said, anytime those two elements come together, it's usually tragic. But I don't know, on a deeper level, I think the show's saying that when love and art and inspiration come together, anything is possible. It really is, it is tongue-in-cheek, it is funny, we are making fun of things, but I have to say Douglas Carter Bean did a beautiful job talking about art and what it means and what love means and, our perception of it. And I think, yes, you'll have a great time, yes, you'll laugh and dance, but there is actually something really moving about the show, especially by these incredible performers who are just working their butts off every night.
Right. Well, at the very end, Sonny says he's going to take on Zeus, the uber Greek god, So love is a risk, and this show is about people sort of taking that risk, The muse is going to give up her immortality, and Sonny is going to face whatever it takes. So, yeah, there is that sense of, love may be a struggle, but it's absolutely worth it. Thena, since roller skating figures so prominently in the play, I'm wondering if there were any skating advisors on the show.
Yes, so we actually did a little bit of cross-promotion with the Ithaca League of Women's Rollers. So we had a couple of their girls come in and sort of supervise and give the cast some tips. And actually, Dev, do you know how many rehearsals that they attended?
How many were?
They went, I think only two, because it was such a fast process.
Wow.
We only rehearsed for 2 weeks. But they also, the whole cast went to a roller derby event, and they were very, very helpful. I know about half the cast was terrified about being on skates, but now they're pros.
Yes, definitely.
And they're all going to join their local roller derby teams.
Exactly.
Directors, Dev, sometimes want to put their signature on a previously produced show. Where would we find Dev Janki's signature in this Hangar production of Xanadu?
Well, I think, first of all, innately the Hangar space is so unique and so special. This is like my fourth production there, and what I love about it is it's a three-quarter thrust. For those who don't know, the audience is pretty much on all sides except for one, which means the audience is such an integral part of the show, and they're so close to the action. So what I love is playing with that. I mean, the audience really feels like they're in the show, especially with Xanadu. There's a lot of the audience itself is a character, so that's just the architecture of the space. I find is always unique, and I love to play with it creatively. But I guess the one thing that's very unique to my productions is my casting. I run a company, Live and in Color, that promotes diversity, and for me, I tend to cast people that usually you would not expect to be in these roles, but after you see the show, you can't imagine anyone else doing it. For example, Diana Huey, who's playing Kira, is a Japanese-American woman who just got off the Little Mermaid tour, and she to much acclaim, but also a lot of controversy, she got a lot of flack for being an Asian Ariel, which is just ridiculous in our day and age.
Yeah.
So I had heard about her, and I was so thrilled we got her for this because she, is such an incredible talent, and so is the other four actors. So for me, I'm really proud of that, and the shows I've done over the years, I feel like I'm tapping the stars of tomorrow. I feel like, years ago I did a production of Rent there, and many of those performers went on to Tony Award nominations and being on TV, and so I'm very proud of the casting of the shows I've done there.
Yeah, it is great. That is a great thing to kind of open that up and provide opportunity and for everybody. It's a great opportunity to be able to see people you might not expect in a role just really excel in the role. Thena, finally, how can people get tickets for the remainder of the show's run other than the giveaway that I'm about to run in a few minutes?
Well, other than the giveaway, we encourage everyone to go to our website. It's hangartheater.org, and that's theater with an R-E. You can also call our box office at 607-273-ARTS. And I do have a couple discounts that I could tell listeners about if we have time for that.
We do.
Okay, great.
A promo code.
Yes. So you can actually receive 20% off any remaining performance as our end of summer gift to you with promo code ROLLER. We also have $10 student rush tickets for next week. The show ends next Saturday, sadly. But we also have drag night next Thursday with the House of Merlot, so you can attend in drag for 50% off your tickets, or use promo code Merlot for that. And we also have, for our remaining matinees, we're setting aside a few tickets for Pay What You Will. So if anyone can't afford to come see the show, it's based on first come, first serve, but patrons can get more information about that on our website as well.
Great. Thena, Dev, thank you both so much for talking about this terrific production of Xanadu at the Hangar Theater. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Bye-bye.